evening, and thank you for coming to listen to the speech today. I will be discussing and informing you of a disorder that affects about 70 million people worldwide, but is not widely talked about. To start this off, I'm going to read to you a quote from an anonymous sufferer describing what this disorder feels like, and I want to see if you can figure out what the disorder is. It's having the blood rush to your cheeks and feeling your ears burn. It's the short breaths and sweaty palms, the occasional lightheadedness, and the feeling of someone squeezing your heart until it beats wildly in your chest. Does anyone know what this disorder is?
Sounds like a stroke.
Tourette's. A heart attack?
Good guesses, but the disorder I'm describing is actually stuttering. I've chosen this particular disorder because I actually work with someone who has suffered with this on and on in their lifetime, and she's actually learned to conquer it. Her name is Laquita, and my hope is that by describing this and informing you of this disorder and telling you a little bit about her life, it may be able to help you in the future if you should happen to encounter someone who stutters. As mentioned, stuttering or stammering is a speech disorder in which the flow of speech is disrupted by involuntary repetitions and prolonged sounds of syllables, words, or phrases, as well as pauses or breaks in which a person stutters or is unable to pronounce words. There are four main causes to this disorder. The main cause is genetics. Approximately 60% of people who have a stuttering disorder also have a family member who suffered from it as well. Childhood development is a second cause. Children with speech or language problems or development issues also are more likely to stutter. Neurophysiology is also a third disorder or cause. Recent neurological research shows that people who stutter process speech a bit differently than people who don't have any speech problems. A fourth cause is family dynamics. It's not as wildly or one of the more prominent causes, but it has been found that children who grow up with high expectations in the family, a lot of pressure, or fast-paced lifestyles can suffer from stuttering disorder. Some of the symptoms that this is accompanied with would be tremors of the lip and jaw, repetition or sounds of a sound, syllable, or word, prolonging a word or sounds within a word, and difficulty starting a sentence. What I've described is probably something that everyone does on a daily basis or just in regular conversation, but with someone who actually suffers from stuttering, it's a bit more intense. And I actually have a video of someone who is a severe stutterer. His name is Eric, and he's actually going to be getting one of the treatments that you can get for stuttering.
Let me ask you a few questions, okay?
You said you wanted to be a professional basketball player. What teams have you played for, Eric?
Well, my first year, I played in.
Eric is now stuck on the letter M. He desperately tries to break the cycle.
I played in. My first year, I played in.
This is now Eric's fourth attempt.
I can't get it out right now.
Imagine that at a job interview.
He's told me whenever he does go for a job interview, they'll tell him that he's very qualified because he's an excellent student and he's a very intelligent young man, but because he cannot communicate, they can't hire him.
Hey, Eric, we're going to put this speech easy in your ear now.
Eric's way with words is about to change. Thanks to a little device that plays Eric's voice back into an earpiece.
Okay, now I'm going to just ask you to do some things for me. Do this. One.
Two.
Three.
Eric hears his voice with a tiny delay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2,
It's also played back at a slightly different pitch.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The altered sound tricks his brain into thinking he's speaking along with other people.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
clients have said. It's like a little voice carrying your speech along and a little friend in there helping you.
Using that same before each phrase, what should it read something?
Future plans for the shuttle include building a space station.
Each time Eric makes a sound, his brain is sidetracked into processing his extra voice.
Columbia, the first one
The stuttering cycle is interrupted before it gets started.
Okay. So the type of treatment that Eric was receiving there is called an auditory device. What it does, just as it was seen in the video, it can either delay or mimic a person's speech, and in that way interrupts the process that the neurons in the brain usually trip up on when someone is speaking. A few other treatments, other than just the electronic device, would be controlled fluency, which is a type of speech. In this speech therapy, it teaches you how to slow down your speech and learn when to notice when stuttering occurs. And there's also cognitive behavior therapy, which is a physiological therapy, counseling that helps you learn to identify and change ways of thinking that might make stuttering worse. With that type of therapy, it also helps with people who suffer with stress disorders that cause speech delays or speech problems as well. Some helpful tips that maybe come in handy for if you do encounter someone with a speech language problem is don't make remarks like slow down, take a breath, or relax. These types of comments can be seen as demeaning and it doesn't really help the issue. As it was mentioned in the video, a lot of times they know exactly what they want to say. It's not that they're too anxious, it's just that they have this problem that they can't get over. You can let them know by your manner that you are listening and what he or she says and not how they say it. So just being calm in your manner when you're sitting there with them, don't look too anxious because then they'll feel like you're rushing them or you don't want to be talking to them. Don't finish their sentences. Someone who may be getting therapy for speech language is more than likely working on getting their words out the way they want it to. So by you finishing their sentences for them isn't helping. And you'll also want to maintain eye contact and remember to be patient. So what we've covered tonight is what stuttering is, its four main causes, which is genetics, childhood development, neurophysiology, and family dynamics. We've covered its symptoms, such as difficulty starting a sentence, treatments available, such as the auditory electronic device that we saw from the video, and also some helpful tips. My coworker, Laquita, knows all of this information too well. As I mentioned, she has suffered with speech language problems throughout her lifetime. Fortunately, I can say for her is that she is a success story. Within the 5 years that she's worked at our call center, she has won many awards for her hard work and just her customer service with the people she speaks with on the phones. And she attributes this to her fierce determination and the support that she's gotten from her family and friends. And it's this type of hope with her family and friends, the support that she got, that I hope that you can take from this speech and use in the future if need be. Thank you.